Button. Oh yeah, the Cougar Wink is on the screen. I think. Instagram. Come on, Instagram. I see YouTube coming alive. Instagram is acting weird. Come on, Instagram. You work so good. All right, and we are live on Instagram. Look at that technology. Look at that. Hope everybody's having an amazing Friday out there. Watch Talk Live is back at it again. What's going on, Jay? How is your day going? The beginning of a new weekend? You getting there? Doing well, man. Doing well. Beautiful Friday in paradise. It's sunny outside. I think I might have a libation or two later in the day, but it's been a very productive week, and happy to end it with the folks. That's for sure. I think we should just go ahead and jump in. I want to thank everybody for jumping in. It is Watch Talk Live. I am CQ the Watch Guy with my co-host, with the mostest retired Watch Guy Jay. We're live on Instagram and on YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We go live every weekday, sometimes on the weekends if there are very interesting things like auctions. We do watch-alongs and all those great stuff. Today is Fume Watch Friday, so we're going to go over some really fun Fume dial watches. Put your favorite Fume dial watch in the chat, and we'll check it out. Do you have a Fume? Do you like a good smoky colored dial? Let us know. We're going to talk about it. But remember, if you need truly independent watch advice, head over to cqthewatchguy.com where you can see all my services, and you can talk to the handsome lad on the screen there.
What's going on, Pivot and Spine? Thank you for stopping by.
Hey, what's happening, Pivot and Spine? Welcome back, my friend. Wait, I can't hear you, brother. Wait, I can't hear you.
What's going on, Pivot and Spine? I was
There you
muted.
go.
Yeah, I said I knew we would have to start with Moser. Just joking.
All right, so we're gonna run over to the Wrist Enthusiast website. They made a nice list there of some female dial watches. We did talk about the Ren piece yesterday, and they reached out. So
Goldfinger.
shout out to Wrist Enthusiast and shout out to Goldfinger. What's happened, my brother? Big pound to you. Hope you're having a great start to your weekend. I hope the sun is shining in your neck of the woods for sure. I believe it is. I believe it is. All right, so we have, let's go down their list to see what they like. They're going to start off with the H. Moser C Pioneer Retrograde Seconds Midnight Blue. I'm actually interested in your thoughts on this watch because of the retrograde second part. I'd be intrigued to know what your feelings is on something like that.
I mean, it's a cool complication, but you know how I feel about like paying more for a complication that I could care less about. That's the thing for me. But it is cool. It probably is fun to kind of watch it snap back when it hits that 59 second. But it goes back to how much more is this watch now that it has this, you know, complication that I don't really need. It's
Now,
beautiful. It's beautiful.
so what would you have liked the retrograde center second if this was all blue? If everything was blue and you just had that seconds here going back and forth, would you
Yes.
prefer? Okay.
Yes. I don't really like skeleton unless like there's a good way to do skeleton, and I feel like this is just it's okay. I get what they're doing here. It does add the contrast to the dial. It does give it like you know what I'm saying. Like I know what they're doing here, but I go back to like it's how much more is this watch than the time only? You know, like without the retrograde.
So this one retails for 21,900. I want to pull up the Moser website when we go through this article because Moser is right now the reigning king, the reigning champions of the Fume Dao. So we can have a lot of fun just going through their
But
website.
it's a nice watch, and I don't think you can really say much negative about the skeletonized molders is one thing, but like when they at least give us some of the dial, you know, I do like it. And this is not a bad watch. I think it's a nice watch. What's going
What's
on,
up?
Vimal?
What's going on, producer Vimal? Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Mark Goldberg. Hope all is well, brother. Thank you for always joining us on the IG. USA
Um,
Crime, what's going on? USA Crime, are you a USA Crime channel or are you somebody in the USA who does crime? I wonder about that every time. So I just want to know if like, you know,
Wait, what? What did you
look,
just? You ask him to insinuate if he does
I
crime?
just need to know. He doesn't have to say who he is, but I just want to know.
Oh, dude, he has a
Ah,
watch
you're right.
as his.
You're right. You're right.
Good
I don't
try,
know. I
good
don't know.
try. But like, I don't think people are gonna self snitch on the watch guy live talk. Okay.
All right. No, no, no
Vimal
self
makes a
snitching.
great point. Does Moser make watches under 40? Do they have like a 38? Because that's a great point, Vimal. I think that they might be missing out on a lot of stuff just because there's such a larger, like larger wrist brand or larger sized brand. Oh, he's just in Philly doing.
Ah, okay. Now,
Hey,
see, I just want to ask. Hey,
we
hey,
lived in Philly for
listen.
a while, man. Eh?
What you doing, your John? I ain't asking about. You know what
Oh
I'm
God,
saying?
man.
I just come from my water ice and I'll be happy. You know what I'm saying?
The mayor
Let's
of
pull up.
Kensington.
Oh man, that would be a great show, by the way.
Oh God.
Okay, let's pull up the
Come
Moser
on, Vimal.
website.
That's not nice.
Vimal,
I literally lived there for eight
listen,
years. It's not that bad. It
we did
really
Canada
isn't.
Day for you. We're on board. Come on, no Philly hate. Okay, the Birds are gonna win a championship again. You
Whoa,
know
whoa,
who
whoa, whoa,
doesn't?
whoa,
You
whoa, whoa,
know,
whoa, whoa,
it's
whoa.
one of the best
Let's
food
talk about
cities
Moser,
out
bro. You
there.
coming about the birds, bro.
A
Stop
lot of
it.
great things to do. Go down to Reddit, not Reddit.
Reading
Go down to
Terminal.
Reddit Street Market. Go down to go down to the square. Go to Park. You know what I'm saying? And if you go to Kensington, some things happen. That's all. We don't really talk about that. Anyways, let's look at some Fume dials and also can we just see all the watches? Is that possible?
Yeah, they are pushing those ugly ass fucking.
So Vimal was asking, do they have a 38 millimeter dress watch? They need a 38
No,
millimeter dress
he's
watch.
telling them they need it. I think he's pretty much confirming they don't have a 38. Um, and if they did, they might really change the game because I would probably rock the hell out of a 38. I feel like every time I put a Moser on my wrist, it comes across as a little bit too large for me.
But didn't they do it one time at 38? I feel like I've
They might
seen a
have,
38 millimeter Moser.
but I don't remember anything in the last 5 years, bro. Maybe before the Streamliner. It's almost like they made the Streamliner like, oh no, we do big watches now. Maybe they did.
I just feel like
What's the
seen.
line that they got rid of? Was not the Heritage. Was it the Heritage?
I feel like not the Heritage, but no, they have done Endeavor in 38 millimeters. So
But
they've
what's
done
the
a 38
line that
millimeter.
they don't have anymore? Remember they got rid of one because it was
The
like,
Venture, the Venture line.
ah, okay, nah, I don't think they had a 38 in that. Okay, so they did have a 38 in Endeavor, or they do.
They, they did. I don't believe they do anymore. I think they're all 40s now. But I think Vimal, that's a reasonable request, and we won't go into big
Whole
risk.
Milk says the Mayus was a 38. I don't even remember that. There was a Mayus collection, or was that like a specific?
Oh no, I think that was an older model
Okay.
that they used to do. I'm gonna pull
It
that.
it seems like they've moved on from a lot of their designs because I feel like the Venture looked a lot like the Pioneer, was it?
Yeah, they kind of crossed over a little bit too much. The Venture was a little bit too much like the Endeavor, but I think the Venture was a little bit thinner.
I mean, they all
And
kind of look similar. If it's not the Heritage or the Streamliner, the Endeavor and the Pioneer, I know that there's a little bit difference in like the case shape, but it's very similar.
this is the Mayu. This is actually a pretty nice watch.
Vimal said, "My point was Moser can be a great dress watch, but the funky rubber is neither here nor there." Great point. What's going on, Tan?
What's happening, Tan? How you doing today? Good evening. So I had to be honest with you. The rubber straps in Moser have been one thing that I personally told the Milan brothers from the beginning. The first time I said is like, you gotta stop putting these rubber straps on these expensive watches. It just doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like,
Not everybody can pull an AP because AP found a way to like make the divers work on the rubber straps and not take away from what they're doing. But then, like, imagine putting a Royal Oak on a fucking rubber strap. Like, Personally,
It just and I did have
personally.
comments the last time I talked too much about the rubber straps. The Moser Gang came out, and I'm Moser Gang as well. You know what I mean?
But
But
tell
I'm
me
just
that don't look
saying,
tacky as fuck, bro. Those the purple, the turquoise and the orange rubber strap. And the funny thing is, if you put this on a black alligator, it might actually look decent. But I can't
well,
even we can't even think about it.
I
Can't
just think a beautiful turquoise strap with orange stitching, orange coral stitching, would just like it would
but
just
with
make me feel
turquoise
like,
alligator?
or ostrich or whatever you want, or leather or suede or whatever you want. Just rubber, just it doesn't make me feel the you
Yes.
know.
Okay, I'm with you. I think a suede, almost a muted turquoise, suede or something like that. Yeah. Rubber is just taking like how do you have a tourbillon and it's attached by a rubber strap?
All right, let's just focus on the beautiful dials that they do. Because one thing Moser does is
What's going on, Blanc Panic? Thanks for stopping by.
Blount Panic. What's up? Thank you for coming. That's a great name, Blount Panic. Might have to
Um,
steal that for a
Vamal
T-shirt.
made a good point. The Pioneer Turb would be fantastic on a croc strap, would be baller dress watch. And it's just like we can't even envision it because they don't give us like it sucks that you can't like roll over the photo and they give you the alligator version. Like if you go on you know what I'm trying to say? Like, okay, we get that you want to push the rubber, but maybe take a shot on it on a black alligator or a leather strap so that we can see how it does both ways. Like get you a girl that does both. She plays softball, but she can also put on heels and dance bachata. Like I'm here for it.
So you know what's interesting? The girl who plays softball and dances bachata, like they rough you up though.
Hey,
The girl
look,
you
I
described is
can I
very.
when we're done here, I'm gonna send you a photo of a girl who played softball and also danced bachata, and she could dance on my face.
And so and Tan says I have a tourbillon and rubber. So I want to clarify. I do love rubber straps, and I do like this watch here. I enjoy this on the rubber strap, but I think it would be nice if it was sold with a leather strap and a rubber
No,
strap.
no, no, and
Less
also
less
Tan,
frizz there.
I apologize. The it's the purple dial tourbillon on a green strap. You know what I'm saying? Like Tan, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wearing a rubber and tourbillon. I'm saying Moser can't pick how many battles it wants to fight. It's like, oh, we're gonna make this crazy purple, and then it's gonna be on a rubber strap, and then we're gonna throw a tourbillon. Because the person who wants the most crazy looking color dials also gonna want a tourbillon and a rubber strap. You know what I'm trying to say? So yeah, you're right. It depends on the watch, and I think Moser is forcing the rubber strap a little too hard. I don't think it's because of cost. I think they just really like this look.
Yeah, and honestly, this is a beautiful watch. Look at that deep burgundy fume dial.
I don't like the
I
strap. The strap does not look good
oh
on
yeah,
this.
to me, you do take a
Brown
lot of the
alligator,
strap.
black alligator, brown, light brown.
All right, let's go over to their endeavors. And so what I like that they do here is they took the Fume concept and really
Blanc
went
Panic
crazy
said that
with
the
it.
only sin was that the Moser logo is subdued. But you know what's funny? I really enjoy the fact that they do that. I like that it's not about the name with them. And you kind of and you know it's them without seeing the name. And I think that speaks volumes to what they're doing as a brand. A lot of other companies need to have their name on the watch just for you to know who the hell they are. And Moser doesn't suffer from that, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think it's really something because you can recognize a noser from the case, from the dial. They really have stamped themselves out. I remember one of the first times, like way back, I was in Disney Springs. So this is like 2015ish, and somebody's like, "Man, a crazy watch came out," and they were like, "What's that brand?" The name is not on the dial, and it was a Moser, but we just didn't know what Moser was because the visibility wasn't all the way there. But it was still very identifiable. And I think that's something really nice that they do. And a lot of brands cannot take their name off the dial and still have that DNA and still really punch out. Look at this beautiful purple enamel Fume dial. Just gorgeous stuff, man. They do really great dials.
Oh, this is beautiful. Thank you, Blanc Panic. And Tan says the issue with Moser is the shape of the rubber strap. It doesn't look good. I actually really agree. I also don't like the holes in the strap. Maybe you're onto something. Maybe it's the type of rubber strap they're using. Tan might be onto something here. But that purple watch was amazing, by the way. Really
Yeah,
amazing.
that's a good point. So they do the racing style, which has the holes, and maybe a different pattern rubber could be
Chris
very
says I'm
very
a crazy
interesting.
dude, man. Thank you, thank you. As
Jeez,
long
I'm
as it's in a real
crazy.
way, in a real way, in like a real positive way. It's
Crazy
5 o'clock
positivity.
somewhere.
All right, so let's move off Moser. I think producer Vimal says panel Moser or Grand Seiko dials at the same.
Oh,
Jeez, why would you do that?
but Grand Seiko doesn't do Fume, do they? They probably do. They probably have a
No, but
couple. They might have a couple that are like, but Seiko,
I'm just yeah.
so
You
Seiko,
really.
Seiko. David Salamanca, what's going on, brother? Oh, Mark's
Hey,
in the
what's
chat.
going on?
That's dope, man. Good to see the bros out here. Uh,
Pick one. Pick one Grand Seiko that we
um,
should put up.
it's not the snowflake. It's the blue snowflake. It's the like Japan edition. It's like the light blue snowflake. Oh, bro, I'm sorry. Nah, they even have. No, no, no. It's Seiko, bro. It's not even close, bro. It's not even close, in my
So, so,
opinion.
so the problem is when we get into this
Sky
conversation
Flake. Thank you, Homo.
is the textures
Yeah.
that Grand Seiko gives you. I just remember being in Ardmore, and it was like when the snowflake just came out. It was my first time moving the Philly full time, and the snow was falling, and I was wearing a snowflake, and it was just like the texture on that dial is just amazing.
These photos, it's not even.
Yeah, it's not even. Wait, now I'm gonna find a good
You
photo.
know what?
It's
That's what
on.
sucks is that like we bring up the conversation about Seiko versus Moser, and I will give Moser the fact that like you can kind of see the fume in the in pictures better. It's so hard to see what's going on in these dials with the photo. Like you have to have it in hand. Um, Gen G says Creed or Fume is number one, and that's a great point. We should definitely take a look at Creed or Fume because they do some great Fume over there. Chris DDS says, while Fume looks great, I do appreciate it. Where I'm gonna go, where am I gonna go? Where am I gonna go wear this? I'm a simple but classic guy. Go Grand Seiko for him. I'm telling you, man, this Grand Seiko,
Wait, where's he gonna wear what?
the Fume, I think he was saying. Like, where
Oh,
would he
okay.
wear a Fume dial? I apologize. Oh, Duraj, what's going on, man? Thanks for
What's
stopping
happening,
by.
Duraj? Good morning.
Oh, Vimal threw something in the
So
chat for us to take a look at.
I'm gonna pop that and let me just
So
consolidate
Pac Eldridge
storage.
just said, choose Moser if you appreciate quiet rebellion, Swiss independence, and philosophical design. Choose Grand Seiko if you're drawn to timeless details, masterful finishing, and a deep cultural tradition. Oh, wow. Very well said. That's
Very
actually,
well said, Pat. Very well
Jesus.
said.
And like you say that about Moser, and it's so fucking true. Excuse my language, because they are a rebellious group. They did the Milk Watch, the all Swiss watch. They've done
A
the
lot of things.
Frankenstein. They are Swiss independent, like 100%. That is so well said. This is so beautiful, dude. Oh my God.
They just do. So you know what's so funny is like I didn't get Grand Seiko until the dials, right?
Yeah.
Everybody be like Grand Seiko, Spring Drive, this and that. It's so amazing. I didn't care over my head, but you put a snowflake in front of me. You put a birch dial in front of me. You put some of those amazing the pink one. I can't remember the names at this moment, but it's so many, and that's where I was head over heels to Grand Seiko. So you put the fact that aesthetically they give you these amazing dials, and then under
How
the hood,
accurate,
just
like how
amazing stuff.
accurate is this watch? Like we're not even going into detail on like what
They
it's
put the
working
lake
at.
on a watch. They put the lake. It's just like I don't know. I've so many great ones. So many great watches, and then they'll still turn around right and do this. They'll still turn around and give you this watch.
By the way, Blanc Panic says, why doesn't the Tentagraph get the recognition it deserves, CQ and J? That thing is so technically superior to a majority of well-known chronos. Oh,
I don't think
wow.
people care anymore. You remember these, the Godzillas?
Yes, this was beautiful, dude. It's such I don't even like
Gorgeous.
red, but like they've pulled it off.
it was just a nice deep red with some real good rivets. Gives you this nice this sunburst effect. They did the strap that was a kind of a distressed leather that gave you the feel of like the skin of Godzilla. Like
It
this
was
is
like
a
a
Godzilla
kaiju.
watch.
Yeah, that's a
It was
kaiju.
like a kaiju. I remember people
100%.
calling like, "Hey, I want the Godzilla watch." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then I went and got it to take some pictures. I was like, "This thing is amazing, amazing,
And
amazing."
even the case shape is a little, there's something about it. I really like it. I'm with you on this one. I don't know what the
Beautiful, beautiful
tentograph is,
watch.
by the way. So do you mind pulling it up? Also, the
Yeah,
Godzilla on the case back too. That's kind of funny.
yeah. Gojira, Gojira,
Gojira.
Gojira. So dope, so dope. All right, let me pull up the tentograph on the side. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us on this amazing Friday. I hope everybody has some good weekend plans. Tell us in the chat, what are you doing for the weekend? Are you doing anything watch related? Should I go watch the F1 movie or should I go watch, what's the other movie we're talking about? Um, what's the other movie?
Superman, Superman.
Superman or F1? What should we watch, chat? What should I go watch this weekend? Tentograph by Grand Seiko.
Oh man, I'm logged into the chat with the wrong account.
Uh oh. Uh
That's
oh.
why I have zero XP. Oh,
Oh, it's JB's.
oh God. Hey, everybody's saying Vimal and IMAX, dude. I'm sorry. Vimal and
Ooh,
Blanc
F1
Panic.
in IMAX.
Everybody's saying F1. I don't know why I said Vimal.
F1. So I did speak to somebody today, and they were like, "Listen, they did a really good job, especially if you're into racing. It's very racy, maybe even a little more racy than story-ish." And he's like, "The story was decently enough done, and like it was really well done." So I've watched enough Drive to Survive on Netflix where I can walk around and pretend to be an F1 fan. Go Nando, go Nico.
You almost got
You
your Richard
know.
Mille so that you could rock that while you walk around.
Exactly. Christian Horner out. Hey, we should do like we might do a sports show, guys. I don't know if I do it on the same channel. Actually, I will because we need the hours. We might do like on the weekends. We'll do like a sports or maybe just like a general pop culture show. If you guys would watch that, let us know because you might do something. We can
Vimal
do
said the
some
story is
tangents.
similar to the Driven by Stallone, which was a pretty good
Okay.
movie.
All right.
So,
All right. I'm sold. All right. We gotta go to IMAX. I think we got that's like
how
a
much
40 minute
is the
drive.
watch that's on the screen right now? Because I have a question for you.
So this is a 14,700 US dollar watch. It's the Grand Seiko Tentograph SLGC 001. High beat precision and 3 days of power reserve come together in the Tentograph, Grand Seiko's first mechanical chronograph.
Real quick, Von Krul says, haven't seen F1, heard watches are really featured in it to a surprising degree. Interesting. Vimal said, can we do a show on world timers, 5 to 75K? That's a good idea for a show for sure.
Ooh, I like that. Let's put that. So Monday's show is gonna be a world timer show, 75,000 cap, $5,000 floor. I think that's a great show to
And
start. This
Blank
weekend.
Panic also said we need a watches and sports episode, so that's something to put on the queue as well. So with the tentograph, it's funny that I forgot who brought the tentograph up. It was Blank Panic. So we were looking at Zenith yesterday.
Yes.
This is such a superior watch to the Chronomaster, in my opinion. Just the look,
Ooh.
just the
Yes, yes,
feel.
yes.
And like, remember we were talking about getting the Chronomaster instead of Daytona, but it's like, all right, what if you couldn't afford the Daytona and you could get over the fact that you're not owning a Rolex? Why not go with this? Because isn't the movement just about as good as any Rolex movement?
No, this is even better. So the Tenograph name describes key features from the caliber NSC5 movement: 10 beats per second, 3 days of power reserve, automatic winding, and chronograph. Fully wound the watch runs for 72 hours when the chronograph is in operation. That's insane. Makes it the longest power reserve in history for a 10 beat second per second chronograph. Insane. I think you're
Mm.
right. I think
Chronomaster what?
yeah, listen. For what Grand Seiko is doing, and then of course they did a really nice dial on it. Like this is and accurately priced. Like you showed me this versus a lot of other watches that are giving you a lot less. I
Well,
think
Von Krul makes a
you know.
great point that you get that Zenith. Like Zenith is the chronograph movement, all that stuff. Like I completely understand, but it's like when you think about your
Oh, we lost you. We lost Jay for just a second there, but yeah, I think this is a really strong piece. I think it's beautiful, good dial. The Zenith, like, I don't know if the conversation is this versus chronograph, or this versus a Defy, or something like that. Vimal says, "Hey, no, it's not a Daytona. This is better. It has 10 beats a second. Can you believe that? Want to get a Listen, it is a watch that needs a little bit of explaining. But if you're somebody who really understand what's going on and you really want to get the value out of it, I think you gotta, this is something that's very, very, it's a good piece to go for. I wonder if they did any other dials in this. Was this really? We could do a Grand Seiko episode another time. Hail Caesar, Julius Caesar wants to know what are the case dimensions on this, and that's actually a very good question. It is. What's the case size? It is 43.2 millimeters. It's a 43. You know me, 43 is fine for me. So some might say it's a little big, but I think with everything that's going on under the hood, it's not that. Let me just fix your audio. All right, go now.
What's going on, John D?
There you go. Good afternoon. Don't panic, Vimal. I respectfully disagree. As someone who doesn't frequent the Miami crypto bro scene, this watch is far superior to a Daytona in every aspect but hype. John D says 43 is big. I guess. You know what? It is. It is big. It is big. It is big.
It's 43. The fact that it's 43 does kind of.
Okay. So let me ask a question. Is big unwearable, or is big
no,
just large?
No, but
I just
no. But Vimal's point makes it because the fact that it's a Japanese watchmaker making a 43 millimeter.
Because they also know that at times you just gotta put something large on there,
But it's like no disrespect, but in their market, that watch doesn't sell. Like they are known for.
We can't say that.
No, I'm saying
can't
that.
say that.
Wouldn't you say that in the Asian markets, under 40 and under,
I believe you believe her, whole milk. You believe her.
it's all about the motion in the ocean. Okay, and if that's the case, this Grand Seiko wins.
Listen.
Because the motion, it's got the 10 seconds. Like, ain't nobody clapping like this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like this.
10 beats per second. Who is doing 10 beats per second?
That's like some
Girl.
Justin Slayer shit. Peter North. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. Jesus. The chat is.
What's going on, Resign Poppy? What it do? It's Friday, man. We're having some fun today. What's going on, Big Frank? Oh man, Von Clue. Hey, listen.
But hear me out. Hear me out. Right? A Japanese watchmaker, the vast majority of their watches are not over 40. Wouldn't you say Grand Seiko typically is 40 and below?
Well, no, I'd say that if we look at their divers, since we're on their page, let's do it. And their website actually doesn't look like it'll break on me.
But a diver is kind of different, man. Like,
but so that's what I'm saying. A sports watch does. Okay.
But
is
the
a
Rolex
chronograph
Daytona
a sports watch?
I
don't know.
That's a tough one.
I don't know.
This one particular is a sports watch. I'll give you that. But you have chronographs and non-sports watch all the time. All the time. There's chronographs in a Calatrava. That's not a fucking sports watch. Am I tripping? Am I tripping?
No. All right. It's tough, but it's big. Okay, so is 43 millimeters unwearable, or is it just large? Like you're just wearing a short sleeve.
It also comes down to how thick. Because if it's 43 and not super thick, but I feel like this is going to be a thicker case given the movement.
So I want to ask the chat. Everybody tell me what is you cannot go past this millimeter size or thickness. If for you're willing to go big in width, but you can't handle the girth, it's okay. If you're, a size queen and you're willing to go big on
bro.
both sides, put it in there as well. But I just want to know what's the, what's the cutoff?
If they clip this without context, we're screwed. Risk
Uh,
time,
we've
Poppy
been screwed
says.
from the beginning.
Also, you're making it with the American market in mind. Plenty of big watches fans in the US. And you're right, Risk time, Poppy. But the thing is that like I don't think that Grand Seiko is as popular in the US as we like to believe. Like there's a lot of people who think it's super popular. I don't think it's as popular as watch people think it is. Does that make sense? Am I right in saying that? There's still that Japanese stigma. Like, yes, they're overcoming it, but they are
But I
not.
think they're not afraid to wear. They are not afraid to wear big watches. I think the only time size and watches we can really have the fight if it's a dress watch or something that's meant to be worn under a cuff. Then I do agree that we should be really talking under 40. Even me personally, but I'm also like throughout my life I've been very very large, right? So there's a time where like a 46 on me looked right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm also kind of dealing with that in my head. But I think if we're under a sports, if we're sports and we know we're gonna wear shorts, short sleeves, then we can kind of be a little bit loose. But if it's gonna be something more on the dressier side or meant to be more worn under a cuff, then I do understand the argument of like maybe a 39 or a 38. I
I
understand.
think
I
I
understand.
think when I'm looking at Instagram chat and YouTube chat, everybody's kind of saying the same thing. There's thickness, there's lugs. How are the lugs wrapping around the wrist? There's a lot of things that go into it. Just the size of the diameter, it's just one factor. 100%. Because we talked about the Submariner, how the 41 feels smaller than the 40 just because of the way that the case is designed and how it feels on the wrist.
True.
So 100% I agree with you guys here that there's so many more factors to what a watch feels like on the wrist beyond the diameter. So 100% agree with that. Um, but Maul said just because you can squeeze a big one doesn't mean you should. It's not worth the ER visit. And it's true, man. It's so true.
Oh man, John D says, CQ, how many bracelet links should be visible from an overhead view of a watch head? One, two, or three? In my honest, humble opinion, a watch should show a good bit of bracelet on the wrist and not just have straps pulled straight down. Very good point, John D. Wow.
I don't understand.
So he's saying when you look at your watch, right?
Hmm.
The face, the head of the watch shouldn't you should be able to see a little bit of the bracelet. So right now as I look at my PRX, I can see a link and a half at the top, a link and a half at the bottom. So what he's saying is if you have something like let's say 46, 47 millimeter Panerai, you're just seeing that watch and there's just the straps are pulling it straight down. So he doesn't want kind of that situation where it's flat and like that. He wants you to be able to see some of the strap and the bracelet. And I think from that aspect, then like what we're seeing now, you look at the screen on this Ren watch, you can see a good bit of the strap. The lugs are not over his wrist bone there. So I agree with that, John. I never really thought about it like that, but I do agree with that aspect.
That
Maybe
makes
I was
sense.
just born into 48 millimeter land, and I was born in the darkness, so sometimes it's hard for me to, when I hear somebody say a 37 millimeter is the right size, I have flashbacks to the Super Adventure days. Maybe that's what it is. All right, so let's keep looking at some Fume divers. I'm going to talk about the Ren, the wrist enthusiast Ren Diver One Snow. I think yesterday we looked at the Seafoam, and this is the Snow dial, and I like these dials. I've never held these in person, but heard very very good things. So I have a feeling they're probably good quality, and the price point isn't crazy as well. But I really like a bright Fume, dark on the outer and like a nice white color in there. It's a cool looking watch. 965 at the printing of that article. Now this is a fun one. Studio Underdog O3 series mono pusher salmon, and I love this one. This is one I saw a good while back, and I just love that charcoal kind of like a moon looking dial, bright in the center, and then you have the Fume is really that inner dial, and then the outer dial is a really nice salmon tachymeter track. I just think the color combinations not something you see every day, but something you could wear a lot.
It reminds me of like a moon watch or something. I get the
Yeah.
dial in the middle kind of gives me a moon vibe.
Wrist Time Poppy says for sports watches, my range is 39 to 43 millimeters, but 39 millimeter is my sweet spot, and I'm 6'2". All right, that's fair. That's fair. Von Cruz says for me, 39 to 43 is pretty much the range, but I can always make an exception because of the case shape or whatever. Somebody else made a good point. Thank you guys so much for all the chats, by the way. You guys are the best. Somebody said something about love
Blanc
to love.
Panic said, speaking of fuming on a killer diver, please take a look at the Christopher Ward Trident Luminary. It's a Pelagos killer, in my opinion.
Ooh, all right. So that's next up.
Rich Time Poppy said, as a 44-year-old, I'm patiently waiting for the Gucci Man and Jeezy, the Snowman 55 millimeter to come back. Oh man.
Hey, there was a time, man. See, you understand what I'm talking about. There was an era where you couldn't go to the club with no 40 millimeter. You needed 44s, 46s.
Because you wanted to dress like a drug dealer, dude. And he just cited two of the biggest drug dealers in Atlanta. Like, I'm not a drug dealer. I'm confused.
You don't want to move that weight, Jay.
No, man. I don't have the heart. I wouldn't last 60 seconds in jail. I got long hair. I'm not
Oh
built for that shit.
yeah.
It's crazy, bro.
You're calling Vimal the Bill, yeah, like producer
Bruh. Straight up.
Vimal, take me to Canada, please.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Is Canadian jail any better than American jail?
Oh, I'm sure they're a little bit more
They're
nicer.
probably nicer, right? They give you syrup with your pancakes and stuff.
They ask
So
first. Give
I
you
really
syrup.
like syrup.
All right, so this is the Christopher Ward C60 Trident Lumiere. And has been posed as a Pelagos killer, and I dare say it has a good shot.
It looks like a Moser to a certain extent. Like the what's the Moser that they have the bezel on? And why am I blanking on that?
They put a bezel on a Pioneer.
Yeah, like it looked like a Pioneer with the not the logo, but just like the bezel case combination.
John,
Um,
John D says, CQ the Watch Guy, we all still know that guy who rocks a 48 millimeter Navi timer and swears it's not too big. Inside, I'm that guy. That's where I'm coming from. It's like,
the mall
I'm that
said,
guy.
"You're gonna get drenched in syrup. Don't commit a crime." It's probably like remember Nickelodeon when it was like they slime you? It's like public sliming. Like you do something in Canada and they just dump a vat of maple syrup and then they feather you. Instead of tar and feather, it's syrup and feather.
But Rasan Poppy says, nah, I just wanted the bops to see me walk in. And
Don't
at
we
the end of
all?
the day, it's all
Don't
about
we
the
all,
bops.
brother?
Oh, man, so we have this. Is this a titanium? I'm guessing it is, right?
Michael A said, What's today's theme and where are we going? Orlando. We are talking about Fume dials. Uh, that's what we were talking about. I think we're still talking about it. The loom on this is actually really cool.
Yeah, we're talking about Fume Dial, so drop your favorite Fume Dial watches in the chat. But if you have, any specific watches you want us to talk about, you're about to buy a watch, you want our opinion and the chat's opinion, or you just have a random watch thing you want to talk about on a Friday, this is your show as well.
And I
Come
agree,
hit
Von Cruel.
us.
You guys wouldn't waste that good maple syrup that way. That is a treasure. It's your national treasure. It's something that is true to the Canadian way. I mean, I don't know if I've had better syrup anywhere else.
What do you think they do to people who get caught like trying to counterfeit maple syrup?
How do
Like
you counterfeit? Oh, well, I guess artificial.
yeah, like
There.
you try,
The question for the
I don't know
Canadians
where I
in
even
here,
come from.
how do you feel about sugar-free maple syrup? It's a generous, I really want to
Oh,
know your thoughts on sugar-free maple syrup. Get back to me when you have a chance. Yes, Michael A. Smoked Us. I think the CW. It isn't nice. I like CWs.
yeah, I think they do a
Not
good
the
job.
not the TV network, but the Christopher Ward.
TV networks hot. So do you buy this for $23.90? I'm pretty sure it's
I don't think I've seen a Christopher Ward I wouldn't buy for the
authentic.
price that they're listed at.
So you
Like
can buy
they're
this for twenty three
probably
ninety,
they're
or
probably
you're
the
gonna
most
buy this.
appropriate priced. Now, to say that it's the Pelagos killer, I don't know if I'm ready to say that. I feel that the case design of the Pelagos and just the dial looks a little bit better with the Tudor, and I don't want to cause any wars in the chat. I just think that it's a little bit more thought out for the
There's
Tudor.
no war, man. Vimal don't like Tudor. I think that this is a Tudor. This is not a Tudor favorite, uh, a
Not-
Tudor favorite
I mean,
leaning chat. I personally, if we're talking about the Blue Dot Pelagos, I really love that watch, but it's like 53.25. I know it's inflation. I know CQ. This is a price
I also don't like
price,
titanium.
but
If they made this watch in steel, it would be a Black Bay, I guess. So there's that. Ugh.
honestly, I got the CW.
There's something about the dial that just feels like it costs half the price of a Tudor. Like I can see why I'm paying 2,600. Not, and you know, I like the reward. I don't have any problems with them. But it's just like you look at this watch and then you look at the Pelagos and you can see what you're paying for. Am I tripping?
I need to hold both of them up close to see if there's a
Blanc Panic
real.
said, I guess he's talking to me. You're missing the best part of CW. It's almost 10 millimeters thick. Superb
Oh
polished
wow.
bezels and very, but okay. So that's, I think this is where the disconnect's happening for me, guys. I'm wearing a dive watch. I don't give a fuck about the thickness. Like the whole thing about wearing a dive watch is kind of,
But so then we get into the world of desk divers, and we're like, we like the dive style, but we want something that's thin enough to wear.
I mean, I just get
You,
confused because you, Sequan, told me that the yellow gold Sea Dweller was such a fucking prized possession. And it's that shit is thicker than fucking
yeah,
pinky.
listen, I think we can all agree that like I am that crazy guy in the watch club, right? That like got when the blessings align and the capital is where it is. I'll be the guy who have the 48 millimeter Navitimer. I'll be the guy who has that solid gold deep sea because like I don't mind being the guy wearing the Robert Graham shirt if that makes sense.
I-
I
I-
don't mind having the loud shirt on. I don't mind wearing a super thick watch. I don't mind wearing an RM diver or something like that. But I think the majority of people want something a wee bit more on the conservative side. But again, I was born in the Expendables, Stallone, 47 millimeter. I was born in the darkness, man. I'm just trying to be Batman. I'm just trying to be Bruce Wayne, but I'm Batman out here.
Caesar says that the dial doesn't cost that much. CW said, sorry, Durad says CW goes head to head with Sports Brightlings. John D asked the question, is the Tudor worth double the price of the CW? And
No.
and so I mean, it goes back to this is why I don't buy watches, dude. Because like I'm the dude who's gonna buy the shit because I like the way it looks, and then you guys be like, oh, why didn't you get that fat fucking watch? You should have bought the Christopher Ward for half the price. And I'm like, well, it's
Well,
a diver. I thought I was supposed to have a
So,
big.
so I don't think anybody would hate on you for buying the Tudor Pelagos, but I think what the point of the argument is like there is a lot of value in the Christopher Ward. And while there are some people who would be like, ugh, Christopher Ward, there are many people who are really looking pound for pound, what are you getting in the watch? You'd say, for the thinness that you're getting out of this Christopher Ward, for the unique things that it's a titanium watch, to get this at 23.90 versus paying 5,000, the value really speaks for itself. And then when you look at a Tudor, it really makes you think, what am I paying 5,000 for? Which we can argue all day, blah blah blah. But I think that's the question that's being put.
I'll
But
be
you wouldn't be
honest.
wrong. You
No,
wouldn't
no,
be
you're
wrong in
right.
just buying a Tudor and just having a great day.
I apologize, guys. I just realized that I took 10 minutes of your time arguing about titanium watches that I'll never buy because I fucking hate titanium.
Vimal is very disappointed. Vimal is.
I hate titanium. Can we stop talking about titanium watches now? Can we move on?
Shout out Naveen. Welcome to the chat, guys. Should I buy long jeans or Tissot? Put two specific watches in the chat, Naveen, and we'll give you
John
a
D said
comparison.
Oris and CW are in the same range and even long jeans in the conversation. Bradley and Tudor are a big step up. Now, I think that like Oris doesn't make a comparable watch to the Pelagos and everything, but I think that Oris, when we talk about what,
Do they? No, I'm trying to think.
I don't think they have a watch that we could say they have a diver, but the diver doesn't look as good as these two watches. But I would say that bang for your buck, warranty, all that stuff, like Oris is some of the best watches you could get.
But let's see what they charge for their diver. Just to give us a little bit of a.
USA Crime says people are spending 150K for the most terrible watches. This is true, and they're also buying horrible watches for under 5K too.
Yeah, horrible watches are being sold at every price.
I'm sorry, Von Cruel. I didn't. If this was like a specific topic that you were into, we could definitely double back on titanium. It's just titanium's such a weird thing for me because I've sold titanium watches and taken so many returns because a lot of people don't understand titanium is so fucking light. Like they like the color of the metal, and then they don't realize that like, yo, it's strong, but it's light. Mm.
Yes, I guess the closest thing they'd have would be like a diver's.
They don't have
Yeah, nothing that's gonna be the exact thing.
nothing that gives that like oomph, that like because their divers kind of look like they're like the 65. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of their divers, but they got good watches. That's all I'm saying. But it's not comparable to a Pelagos for sure. Not even close. The design of the watch just it doesn't
No, you're
feel the
right. You're
same.
right. Yeah, no. There's definitely a big
And how
difference
much
there.
is it? 4 grand?
Well, that particular one, that was like a special one. But they range from 2,600. This one 2,900. What I just picked up gives you that vintage aesthetic, and it's a little bit of a Fume Dao. See, I'm keeping us on task.
Oh God! Thank you, Von Pro. I appreciate you. We should do a titanium show, and I'm gonna have to just maybe Von Cruel can show me a titanium watch that I'll like. You know, because I'm always open. I'm always open.
How about next Tuesday is gonna be Tuesday, Titanium Tuesday, brought to you by
Hmm,
Von Cruel.
that sounds fun.
There you go. So wait, what do we have? Because Vimal said, shoot, we gotta write this down. I'll go back in the chat because
There it
Vimal
is.
had one for Monday, and now we
With
got
world
Tuesday.
timers, but we gotta
Yes, World
up the
Timer
price because
Monday.
he went 5 to 75K. That's such a long range.
I think that's a good range. Though.
Five to
Good range.
75. Okay, you're right. Yeah, it gets everybody. What's going on, Welsh Recon? I don't think we've seen you in the chat before. Thanks for stopping by.
Welcome, Welsh. All right, so let's keep going down the wrist enthusiast list. We got an AP Royal Oak Jumbo Extra Thin 16202 XT with the red Fume medal. This one I really like. I like a good
Oh,
red.
I love this. I don't like red dots, but when you can do it in a way that's not, how did you say, like overpowering. Like this, it kind of fits the fume. Now, if it wasn't fume, it'd probably be tacky. Also, it's not tapestry.
No, well, on the
Ooh.
special ones they
No,
don't
no,
do.
I'm here for it. I'm here for
Once
it.
in a while. And this
Blanc
is
Panic said
titanium.
the legendary Tim Masso is a fan of Oris because of the 10-year warranty. Yeah, man. Yes, he is.
Tim
Um,
also knows, man. Tim also respects brands that give value to their clients. All right, let's see what else they have on this list. An ordained Model One Plum Fume. This watch came up a lot in the searches, and this is a really beautiful dial. This is really. And I don't think the price point on these. This was 3,500. See the movement, just a beautiful dial.
that was
Beautiful.
pretty. I'm not a fan of the font that they used. Like it's like Arabic, but then they were like, we're gonna use some kind of like old English, like Shakespeare and fucking. I don't like that. The numerals. Everything else is
Yeah,
nice,
I
but
could have done without the numerals. Now that you say that, we could have done something different with the numerals. I feel
it could have been stick, and this would have
where we
been
could have.
perfect. Maybe just the 12. But like the just the even like, so what's wrong with odd numbers? What you got against odd numbers? You got to be able to
Oh
be
right.
divided by two. Weird. I don't know.
Like this with just hashes, I think would have been a very interesting. I don't know.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. It's still a nice watch. It's still a nice watch.
I like that. I want to thank everybody who is tuning in. Do me a favor, upvote, upvote, upvote. It does a lot for us. You got 21 people. I think we got as much as 30 so far
Yeah, it
for
was
today.
popping
You
over there,
guys
man.
are amazing. Thank you for joining us for the Friday. Now we got an Oris Aqua State, the other diver. Nice little fume.
Real
These are
quick,
fun.
Naveen says, guys, I'm a huge fan of Grand Seiko, but I'm concerned about the resale. I mean, that's any brand that's not Rolex, especially when you're talking about that price point, Grand Seiko. But I think there's a certain models that you can kind of be safe with. Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think with Grand Seiko, just with pretty much everything now, you're gonna take a hit if you buy it retail, but they're usually pretty tradable watches in terms of consumer to consumer. So maybe they're not the fastest to move, but usually if you you can find a good consumer group or Chrono 24 and you price it decently enough, you should get some action because they are popular models. But
But buy pre-owned, like PG saying
by
here,
pre-owned,
buy
yes,
pre-owned, don't buy retail, buy pre-owned. You're gonna get it for a better price automatically. So great advice,
yes.
PG. Um, Also, skill issue for anybody that says it's quartz, because a quick Google search would have them understand that it is not quartz. It's actually a lot more than that. So good on you for knowing better than them. Black Panic said, I never understood the lug on the aqueous. Shame it's such a great diver. Hmm. What's wrong with it?
He
Is it
doesn't
is it
understand the
curved?
love, or he
Yeah.
doesn't.
No, no, lug. Sorry. He's saying I don't
Oh yeah,
understand that
because
lug.
again, it's kind of bulbous, right? So you got this big onion
Is
here,
it curving? Is that what it is? It's kind of
yeah, and then the
curving.
lugs just kind of poke out. So
Okay.
for some people, it's just not. It doesn't do it. And Naveen, who cares what people say, man? As long as you love the watch, that's all that matters.
We
People,
don't care what people say.
exactly. Listen to Jay. And here, ooh, my favorite Fume is Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean 6,000 meter Summer Blue Ultra Deep. We all know how I feel about the Omega Summer Blue series. I think they are
Everybody's
some of
so
the.
afraid to say deep blue, man.
Yeah, because you see Deep Blue suing people. Now I understand. Now I understand what's going on.
Everybody's like, nah, we can't say that, bro. John D said resale shouldn't be part of your purchasing calculation or calculus. It signals the purchase doesn't come from a truly disposable in funds, and you relinquish part of the autonomy by worrying about other preferences. Damn, John D. I do agree to a certain extent. To a certain extent. To a certain extent. He's not wrong. He's not wrong, but at the same time, because I subscribe to John D's thinking, and that's why I haven't bought a watch yet, because I haven't found a watch that once I buy it, I'm okay with it going to zero.
So yes, no matter what, when you pull the trigger, when you're buying a watch, you should know that hey, all of this goes to zero no matter what. But still, like the Summer Blue series is a great example. When these first came out, some of these were going a little bit above retail. So am I wrong on saying, hey, let me wait a year or so, and I'll be able to snag these at a good discount on the secondary market? I don't see anything wrong with that. Now, I do think you shouldn't go into something thinking, hey, I want to sell this, I want to trade this. But hey, you might buy this and get tired of it and you want to trade something, trade into something. So there's nothing wrong thinking about it, but it really shouldn't be too heavy. But I think there are many situations where, and the reason why we really got to think about it, a lot of these brands will sell you things at whatever price point and not care when you lose half of your retail. So that's why we're in this environment now where we got to think about it. But not bad points at all there, John D. Not bad points at all. We need to like put a wall of quotes together of just like I'm gonna go through all the chats and do that. Anyways, the Omega Summer Blue series to me, what a great place to get really cool looking Omegas at very, very good values. One of the coolest looking Seamaster 300s you can get. Really great blue ceramic dial with kind of this turquoise sky blue in between. Fume dial that just, it looks magical. And it gave this treatment to pretty much every piece, every family in the Omega lineup. Planet Oceans, the older Seamaster 300 vintage style. Look at that. For 48.75, I'm sure if you offered 4,300, they'll really consider it. They even did the Pull Prof. I just think, they did the Aqua Terrace. I just think if you're somebody who
Prefer,
likes,
I think the Aqua Terra for me, or just um, the regular diver. I'm not a fan of the Planet Ocean one, but I love the Dallas. You're right. I'm with you on this. Like
yeah,
this is the
this collection, this is a great collection. That was a great hit for me.
Michael A says waiting sometimes is good, not tempted by FOMO. Vamal makes a great point. He says resale is not a consideration for liking a watch, but factors if I should go gray or AD, which is really,
Yes.
really, that's a great point. Put that on the wall. Put that on the
Yeah.
quote wall. Tad says John D is right. Nobody cared about the resale value before the hype. It's just like crypto. I know everybody gets tired of me talking about crypto, but back in the day, it was all about the tech. Bitcoin was going to take us away from the banks, and Ethereum was smart contracts. And now everybody's just like, well, is it going to 10x? It's like, dude, fucking meme coins. Anyways, Julius Caesar says, I think people tend to use watches as part of your net worth. I personally don't. Focus more. on my income and my investments. Watches are my guilty pleasure. And that's smart. I don't think a lot of people think that way, Caesar.
Yeah, so I think that's what happened. Before COVID, it used to just be, okay, this is our guilty pleasure. We're gonna have some fun. This is the money that I hide from my wife. She doesn't know about because I buy these crazy watches. In COVID, a lot of people start going to their wife and start saying, "Hey, honey, this can be part of our investment portfolio. We can make." So like the focus of a lot of collectors changed, or a lot of new collectors, I should say, came in that just had different focus, and that's why resale is so much in the conversation now, because a lot of people came into the hobby when it's all about flipping and things like that. So that's why we're still recovering from that. I think Vimal's point is a great one, where resale isn't a consideration for liking the watch. It is a consideration where you buy your watch, whether you buy it from the primary or secondary markets. And I think that is really, really great advice. Von Cruz says, thinking about resale is more of a question just because I look at history and I resold the overwhelming majority of watches that I ever owned, but occasionally I manage to buy something that lasts. And I think this is a bigger thing. If you know you're a collector who changes things a lot, who will buy watches and want to trade and sell watches, then you need to start paying attention to resale. If you're somebody who's a lifer and most of the watches, not even a lifer, but let's say you're gonna buy a watch and you know you're gonna keep a watch for at least 5 years, then I'm not thinking about resale that so much, because you really can't predict what's gonna happen in 5 years up or down. But if if you're somebody you're gonna buy a watch and when it hits its first birthday in your collection, you're gonna start looking at it like, I don't really wear it. Then you should think about resale, because I do know a lot of collectors who have just lost hundreds of thousands of dollars where they could have mitigated a few of those situations, just to keep the guilty pleasure a pleasure, right? That's the whole aim of the game. All right, let's do a few more watches before we wrap up. And if anybody has any questions, you guys have been so amazing. So many people in the chat today. Thank you so much for spending your Friday with us. And here we have another Christopher Ward. This is a 12 in titanium with a nice green Fume dial.
Does he always have that thing there? That the plus thing? Is that his thing? I feel like I didn't see that on the dress
I,
watches.
I think there was a logo change,
I
and,
don't
and
like that.
some of them have this, but
I
then
think
the
that's
logo's
what
a
I
little
didn't
different.
like about the diver was that fucking logo. That logo just it looks like a Tech Bro logo. It looks like some shit that they would have put in San Francisco. Like, I'm sorry, I'm done.
All right, Longines Spirit Flyback. This is a nice one. A little chocolate
Yeah,
dial.
it looks
Little
like
chocolate Fume.
this shit looks exactly like kind of like a Breguet Type 20 type vibes.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just not it's not Breguet money for sure. Like,
So Michael A corrects us. The CW logo is not on the Belcanto or the new loco, and
uh,
that's why
that's why I
seeing
like
it.
those and not
Yeah.
these. It's just there's something about that logo that just doesn't seem luxury. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Blancpanek explains. Well, let me pull the watch back up. Blancpanek explains it's a twin flag logo with the Swiss logo and the England flag logo being the Swiss and English flags being on the logo. The Swiss flag being represented by the cross, and then it's actually really good because the British flag is a red cross with a white background. So all you need to do is just create an imprint of a cross, and you kind of reference it. So that's actually great. Now that you explain it, thank you for explaining
That's
that,
very
Blancpanek.
elitist of Christopher Ward not to include the United Kingdoms and only England, but okay. And what about Ireland and Scotland and the Isle of Man?
I'm not getting in this argument. Diraj will be able to educate us on what happens when.
Well, I know a lot about English history, okay? The Irish car bombs. Anyways,
Von Cruz says, I wish I could buy nothing except watches that I want to keep long term, but I pass most of them on. This is why I think buying a watch as a gift is pure hubris. I think,
mm,
listen, we need to just accept that part of the hobby, part of the thing, is scratching the itch and making the transaction,
wait,
right?
Ireland's not part of the UK? Sorry.
See, good,
Wait,
good.
who's in
That's good
the
for you. That's good for
Nah,
you
nah.
for
Wait.
for getting geopolitical. That's good. Now you clean it up. Clean it up.
Oh,
Clean it up. Clean it up. Clean it
what?
up now.
Well,
Clean
I
it
mean,
up with
I'm
our
trying. Hey,
international friends.
it's only Northern Ireland. I
See,
apologize.
clean it up.
Apologize. I'm a quarter
Yeah.
Irish. I don't know all my history. I
When we do our
apologize.
UK show, we're in separate flights, separate hotels. They're not. They're gonna take care of you and teach you a lesson. I'm respectful to
Yo, you see,
everybody.
he wants me to get my puffer popped. My own boy wants me to go over there and have the ghost knife and give me a puffer pop, bro. This
Yeah,
fuck. They put my.
I'm not involved. I'm not involved. So what I was saying is like we sometimes we just love the transaction. Sometimes we just love buying, and that's okay. So a lot of us we just like the, and that's why I love dealing watches because I get a lot of that transaction experience when I'm not using my own money. I don't have a vault full of 100 watches. So I think some watches we're gonna keep forever. Some watches we just really wanted to buy and just wear for a season. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. And I think depending on your situation, no matter what your situation, you should always be responsible and make sure it stays a guilty pleasure and not a guilty, you know, you know, your wife's beating you up, calling CQ the watch guy. Why did you lend and spend all this money on watches? Not a fun call for me. Not a fun call for you. All right, let's just kind of wrap it up. We got a Seiko Presage cocktail timed in Negroni. This is a really nice watch.
Oh,
Small
Black Panic
Seiko.
said, I love some cocktail time Seikos. And then he's like, is this the Negroni? And I didn't
There it
realize that,
is.
it literally is the Negroni. I was like,
That
dude,
it
that's funny.
is.
I could see this being a Negroni. I was like, oh, it is. What is
All right, and
this?
now we got a JLC Polaris Perpetual Calendar. I love this watch.
Oh, I love JLC. You just need a fucking keygen to figure out what you're looking at half the time.
Well,
But it's
yeah, but
beautiful.
after you got your 52.5 retail, after you get your
Dude,
key gen and your all
I'm
your
joking. It's not
things.
that complicated. It
No,
just looks
this is actually pretty
complicated at
easy.
front. It is easy to read. It
Let's see
is.
how much you could get this for on the secondary market right now.
JLC doesn't get enough love. Word to Tim. Michael A said we should make a watch exchange group. Every 6 months, rotate ones you don't like. So there was this thing called 11 James, I think,
Yeah.
and they used to they used to rent watches. The problem, Michael A, is that not all collectors treat their watches the same. So we got to think about the cost to refinish and fix watches for the people who may not be as careful with their watches in this collector's circle.
So the thing is, it works with a very small group. It works until like maybe like 7 or 8 people, and then when it gets broad, bigger than that, it's like somebody never gets the watch. Somebody bangs the watch. The person who bangs the watch is like,
Well,
it becomes a
then we
thing.
buy a whole lot from them, and like those watches were, "Oh, what's going on, Ruxel Filthy? Welcome in Brooklyn." But those watches were beat up badly. They like, so that's the only problem is that not all watch collectors treat their watches with love and care, like I believe the chat does. I'm sure you guys don't
Yeah.
play around.
Like I feel like if we got a few watches, and I'd love to do that actually. Like, my camera's gonna die soon. But if we had like a couple watches that I could float around to people like in the chat, like, hey, you wear it for a week, tell us your thoughts and stuff like that. That we could do. But when it becomes like this watch, like a 50 grand JLC Gold Polaris sports watch on a rubber strap, I'm wearing this having fun. You guys are gonna wear this having fun. Somebody dings it. It has to go to. It becomes. It just.
Where's
You know.
Tan? Where's Tan? Because this is a perfect example of a rubber strap that works. And it's like,
Yes.
so is Moser just making the wrong rubber strap? You know, because like this rubber strap on this watch does not detract from what it's trying to do.
I agree. I actually love this watch, and I thought they'd be cheaper, but they are not. They are not that cheap.
Michael A said, if you guys make sense, 5 to 6 people, probably could not be more than that. Watches under 5K. Yeah, maybe. I can see it.
Watches under 5K, it could work. You know when it works? It works if it's watches like everybody keeps their own straps, and
Mm,
it's a head that travels. Like that could work where
yeah.
everybody has their own straps. Because I consulted on a group who wanted to do it, and the straps become an issue too, and strap wear and tear. But some type of watch that like can we just send heads? Everybody puts on their own straps. It could be done. Like if you guys want to do it, if like when we get to a certain stage and like let's say we got a sponsor who wants to donate a watch to the chat and we can do that. I do it with a small group like this, but I wouldn't do it like like only with this group, not the group who come in after after we hit the big time.
After we moon baby.
Exactly.
Ruxo, I'm sorry, Rux USO Filthy says, I love my Laurier Zephyr. I don't know what I've never heard of a Laurier cipher. He's over in the Instagram chat, making sure
Okay,
that
so I'll pull that up, and that'll be the last one we talk about today.
PQ needs to charge his camera more often.
Yeah, it's gonna die. It's gonna die. You know, usually I have it charging all the time, but today I've literally been on so many calls all day. Um, all right, let's pull out the Zypher, and I think we've been on for an hour. I can't see, but I think we've been on for a little bit.
Yeah, we've been on for about 64 minutes.
All right, there you go.
Blanc Panic said Laurier is the vintage Americana brand.
All right, so let's check out some Laurier watches.
And then Rux, the USO did confirm it is a smaller brand. Ooh, interesting.
Oh wow, these are cool. Ooh, all right.
Very
Let's see. Show me
nice.
more. Show me more.
Mm. And this is American brand?
I think when they say he means Americana, like just like vintage American style. I think that's what.
Ah, okay. That makes
Actually,
sense.
I mess with this chrono. I'm a big chronograph guys, fan guys. And how much is this?
Uh-oh.
Quanto?
Is it one of those they ask us about the price?
Quanto S?
Rux, USO Filthy, do you have an idea of how much these watches go for? Give us an idea since you own the Ziffer. He
I'm
says
guessing
that they
these.
come with two straps.
Okay, 600 on this one.
Oh, that's not bad.
All right, so I'm guessing everything's under 1,000.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah. See, that it
The
just
Blanc
makes you.
Panic set is all under 1K as well.
These are dope.
$500 on the Ziffer. Rux USO confirms. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, these are awesome. I haven't handled any in person, but for the price one, I definitely take a
Oh wow, the
swing.
loam on that's pretty interesting too. Interesting.
I just love this case ship.
Yeah,
How
the
big is
Zipper.
this?
How big is the case? I hope it's over 38 because it looks like it's
Uh,
smaller though. It looks like it's probably in a 37 range, 39 range.
yeah, modeled on a 6-inch wrist. Blah blah blah. Huh?
That's funny that they tell you what inch wrist is modeled on and not the
Hey,
size of
you
the
got to,
case.
you got to. Oh
Yeah.
man, these are pretty good. Oh, nice. All right, guys. Thank you so much. It has been an amazing Friday show. We're gonna do Titanium Tuesday. We're gonna do World Timer watches, 5,000 to 75,000 on Monday. I want everyone to have an amazing weekend. Do me a big favor: comment, subscribe, give us an upvote. Jay, what is your message to the chat for the weekend?
Oh man. Have yourself a nice drink. If you don't drink, have yourself a nice fume. If you don't fume, spend some time, touch grass, touch ass, and have a great weekend.
Hey, I love that. Hey, everybody, thank you guys so much. Have an amazing weekend. We will see you on Monday. And remember, if nobody loves you, CQ loves you. Have a great one, guys.
Senpai.